You're talking on the phone, you dating somebody, y'all vibing good, y'all go out on a date. You feel like you had a pretty good evening. The next day, you go to call them, your number has been blocked. You go straight to voicemail. You leave a message, you're in a cheerful mood, you ain't thinking nothing bad. You be like, hit me when at your earliest convenience. You get no response. Day or two go by, you've been ghosted. And yes, it is ugly when it happens to you. And I've been ghosted before, so I understand it. That's an ugly thing when it happens to you. But the reason that people ghost you is this: it's a lot easier for them to just block your number, go on about their life, because they have already decided that for whatever reason, they're not interested in you anymore. And they, like most people, care a lot more about themselves. They don't feel a need to have an awkward conversation with somebody they have no more plans to spend time with. And that's as simple as it gets. But the reason people ghost you, one is they meet you and you are just not what they want. Your vibe might be off in person. They might not be physically attracted to you. But most people are not cruel. So y'all have a nice little date. Y'all hang out. You're thinking everything went fine. But in their mind, they done already threw your name, your number. You done already got tossed in the trash can because you just not what they want. And that's the truth. Now, let's say you've been dating somebody for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and y'all didn't have no blow up, nothing crazy happening. Y'all was getting along good, y'all was having fun together. I mean, life with that person was all right. And you thinking that, hey, this could potentially lead to something. And they ghost you. Well, that's a little different. If you actually been seeing somebody for a little while, a month, couple months, and they ghost you, it's probably because somebody that they like better than you has entered their life. Think about it. You only physically been dating this person for, let's say, a couple weeks, maybe a few months. You may have met that person a week or two after they had broken up with someone else. During that time when you first met them, they may have been mad at that other person. But as time went by, and they not telling you none of this because people just ain't honest about everything. That's just the truth. You really don't know what's going on in the inner workings of somebody else's mind. They could be missing the hell out of somebody else, and you could just be a placeholder. You could just be the person that's filling that gap for them while they are really, really missing somebody else. Them and that other person, they reconnect. They still dating you though. They don't tell you nothing about it. Them and that other person, they talking, they working out whatever issues they had, and they finally see each other. Do you realize that person they were dating, they may have been dating for a year. They may have been dating that other person for 2 years. It may have been 5 or 10 years. You didn't have a chance because the other person, they were in love with somebody else. You never stood a chance. So instead of them having an awkward conversation with you, they ghost you. They block your number. They move on about their life. It just is what it is. It was easier for them to block you than have an awkward conversation with somebody that they had already decided they were not going to be into their life. So that person took the path of easiest resistance for them. The person that ghosted you just happened to care more about their own feelings than yours. They weren't up for having that conversation. And let me tell you, if you get ghosted by someone after you call, after you leave a message, and you realize that you have been ghosted and this person is not communicating with you no more, there is only one thing you can do. The best move you can do. Walk away. Walk away. Walk away. Do not start blowing nobody's phone up. Don't show up at nobody's house. Don't show up at nobody's job. Don't start hassling nobody. Because in the end, the other person has shown you through their actions that they do not want to be with you. And if you are that person out there that needs closure, well, I'm going to help you out right now. Because your closure would go something like this. It wasn't you. It was me. I was going through some emotional stuff at the time, and I just wasn't up for a relationship. Or they're going to tell you something like this. Me and my ex got back together. So if you need closure, just take one of them lines. That's your closure. Because that person that ghosted you, again, took the path of easiest resistance. They had already decided that you were not a part of their life no more. So it was easier for them to walk away instead of having an awkward conversation with you. And if it was the first date, like I said earlier, the truth of the matter was they weren't attracted to you. And if they had been dating you for a month, 2, 3 weeks, somebody else came into their life that they liked better than you, or somebody they had been dating came back into their life. And most people are not cruel. So that person that ghosted you wasn't going to tell you the truth anyway, especially if it was one day. They weren't going to tell you that when you sat down at the table in front of them, they was like, ooh, just not my type. They were not going to tell you that because most people aren't that cruel and they don't have to do things like that. They weren't. Even if you've been dating somebody 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month or two, they're not going to tell you the real truth about them and their ex been talking the whole time they've been dating you and that they knew you were just a placeholder. People don't do stuff like that. And especially people that ghost you. So if you get ghosted, there is only one move for you to make. Walk away. Don't turn into a bugaboo. Don't turn into no stalker. And any closure that you were about to get from that person was going to be a lie anyway. Look here, y'all. My name is Daryl Moore. Check out my book, Payback. That's Daryl Moore. Check out my book, Payback. Peace, love, happiness. I'm out.